Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. I'm going to play the entirety of this video and then I'll go back and talk about things that are going on and talk about things that I think that were done right and or done wrong. Without further ado, here we go.
Hello, my name is Matt Clark, and I'm the commander of the Denver Police Department's Major Crimes Division. This critical incident debriefing is intended to provide you with information regarding an officer-involved shooting that occurred in the area of South Federal Boulevard and West Harvard Avenue in southwest Denver on Wednesday, May 19, 2021. You are about to see relevant video footage and learn about other evidence and police procedures related to the case, so you have an understanding of the details of this incident. The use of deadly force by a police officer demands a thorough investigation be completed. The Denver Police Department is committed to ensuring a full and timely investigation of these serious incidents. This allows for a comprehensive examination of the officer's actions to determine compliance with state statutes and department policies. In accordance with legislation passed in 2015, the investigation of police shootings in Denver are conducted by a multi-agency investigative team made up of members from the Denver and Aurora Police Department Homicide Unit, as well as the Denver District Attorney's Office. All critical incident investigations are actively monitored by the Office of the Independent Monitor. A word of caution. The images and information you are about to see may be disturbing. When a police officer uses force to arrest a suspect or defend against an attack, it can be graphic and difficult to watch. In addition, there may be strong language used by those shown in the video. Viewer discretion is advised. On Wednesday, May 19, 2021, at approximately 6:45 p.m., the Denver Police Department received a 911 call regarding an individual with a knife on the east side of South Federal Boulevard near Harvard Avenue. The caller advised the male was under a tree and appeared to be cutting himself.
Okay, and tell me exactly what happened.
Hey, no! Hey!
What's going on,
There's
sir?
a guy that got a razor knife and he's maiming himself right now.
Officers Katie Phillips and Jordan Archuleta were promptly dispatched to this call. Both officers were wearing Denver police uniforms and were driving marked Denver police vehicles. The officers approached from the north and passed by the subject, who was later identified as 52-year-old Raul Rosas Zarsosa. As the officers drove past the subject, they recognized he was bleeding from his neck. The officers proceeded south one block to Vassar Avenue, where they turned around and stopped their vehicles. The officers intentionally blocked the northbound lanes of Federal Boulevard at Vassar Avenue to prevent vehicle and pedestrian traffic from accessing the area while they worked to resolve this incident. The location where the officers stopped their marked police vehicles was approximately 105 feet away from where Mr. Rosas Zarsosa was located. The officers were concerned for Mr. Rosas Zarsosa and recognized he needed medical care for his self-inflicted injuries. At the same time, the officers observed Mr. Rosas Zarsosa was still in possession of a knife he was using to cut himself. When the officers exited their vehicles, they were both carrying less lethal tasers, and Officer Phillips was also carrying a less lethal pepperball system. The less lethal pepperball system is a tool that allows officers to attempt to de-escalate situations or gain compliance from subjects at greater distances. The system shoots spherical projectiles that are filled with capsaicin powder. The officers directed an uninvolved individual who was walking a dog back to their location so he could not be at risk. As the officers were developing a plan to safely approach Mr. Rosas Zarsosa, he stood up and directed his attention towards the officers. Mr. Rosas Zarsosa began approaching the officers at a steady pace while holding the knife in his hand. The officers gave clear direction to Mr. Rosas Zarsosa to stop and get back.
Get back! Get back! Get back!
Mr. Rosas Zarsosa disregarded this direction and continued on his path towards the officers, quickly closing the distance. Officer Phillips moved back to a location where a police vehicle was positioned between her and Mr. Rosas Zarsosa. Mr. Rosas Zarsosa continued walking towards the officers, ignoring their verbal direction. At one point, while Mr. Rosas Zarsosa was walking towards the officers, Officer Phillips utilized a less lethal pepperball system to attempt to gain his compliance and de-escalate the situation. Officer Phillips discharged 10 pepperball rounds at Mr. Rosas Zarsosa, striking him in the chest multiple times. Despite being struck by the pepper ball rounds, Mr. Rosas Zarsosa continued towards the officers. As Mr. Rosas Zarsosa came around the front of the police vehicles, Officer Archuleta discharged a less lethal taser. The taser was not effective in stopping Mr. Rosas Zarsosa because one of the 2 taser probes did not make contact with him. At about the same time the taser was deployed, Officer Phillips, who had transitioned from the pepper ball system to her duty handgun, discharged multiple rounds from her firearm. Mr. Rosas Zarsosa was struck by these rounds and fell to the ground. Mr. Rosas Zarsosa threw the knife he was holding to the side as he was on the ground. An ambulance was already at the location and provided prompt medical aid to Mr. Rosas Zarsosa. He was transported to the hospital, where he was later pronounced deceased. Following a police shooting, any officers involved in the incident are separated and assigned to a supervisor once a situation is stabilized. Involved officers remain in the company of the assigned supervisor throughout the initial investigation of the incident. Through the investigation, it was determined that a total of 5 rounds were fired by Officer Phillips. At the scene, investigators recovered a red Milwaukee utility knife. This was the knife that Mr. Rosas Zarsosa used to cut himself, and also the knife he held as he approached the officers. All officers assigned to uniform patrol duties in Denver have been issued body-worn cameras. These devices are generally worn at chest level by patrol officers and are capable of recording both audio and video. Prior to being activated by the officer, the body-worn camera maintains a 30-second video buffer. Once the officer activates the camera, the 30-second buffer video is captured, and the camera starts recording both audio and video. It is important to note that a body-worn camera captures a general perspective of what is in the camera's view. However, this footage may or may not be what the officer actually saw or perceived. At times, an officer's movement or hand positioning may inadvertently block the camera's view. Additionally, the camera may not capture light in the same way as an officer's eye. Here is the relevant, raw, body camera footage that was captured by the involved Denver police officers' body-worn cameras. Again, viewer discretion is advised.
Come on.
Hey, how about we take
Go back. Yeah.
we'll take the car?
Yeah. Hey! Hey! Get back! Get back! Get back! Get back!
Get back!
Get back!
Hold here.
Stop! Stop!
I
Don't
got
do it! Don't do it!
Taser.
Don't do it! Don't do it! Tase
Right
him!
now.
Stop! Shots fired! Shots fired!
Don't move! Drop the knife!
Stop! 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 Get back! Get back! Get back! Get back! Get back!
Drop-
Get back, get
drop
back.
the knife. He pushed.
Get
he
back,
tossed
get
the
back.
knife. He tossed the knife.
I know.
He tossed the knife.
Hold on.
He tossed the knife. 619
Fuck.
Harvard and Federal got 1
Ah.
We need a plus code 10. All right, officers are okay. He has tossed the knife. We need the EMS to move up. Are you good?
Yeah.
All right.
Dude, I'm just fucking freaked out.
All right. Hold on. Sir, listen to me. Sir. Sir.
Sir, put your hands out to your side.
Hands out to your side, on your
Hands
stomach.
out to your side.
Hands out to your side, on your stomach.
Hands out to
sir.
your side.
Hands out to your side.
Hands out to your side. Hands out to your side.
side. We have cars coming now. We're going to start taking them into custody. Sissy, glove up. Where's the gun? We have a knife.
Do I go off?
Stay on. Shot.
I did.
In my car. Secure your weapon. Did you shoot? Sit in my car. Are you rolling?
Yeah.
You can stop as soon as you get in my car. Hey, how about we take get over here. We'll take a car up further. Get on this side of my car.
Hey, hey, get back! Get back! Get back! Get back!
Get back! Now!
Back!
This one, Adam, hold the air, hold the air.
Stop! Stop!
I got a taser, I got a taser, I got a taser, I got a taser.
Don't do it! Don't do it!
Drop it now!
Stop. Shots fired! Shots fired!
Don't move! Don't move! Drop the knife!
Stop! Stop! Stop!
Drop the knife!
Get back! Get back! Get back!
You good?
Get back,
He dropped
get
the
back.
knife, he pushed, he
back,
tossed the
get back.
knife. He tossed the knife, he tossed the knife.
Hold on.
He tossed the knife. 6-1 Adam, we're Harvard and Federal, got one suspect down, we need a bus, code 10. All right, officers are okay. He has tossed the knife, we need a bus. We need the EMS to move up. Are you good?
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Dude, I'm just fucking freaked out.
All right, hold up. Sir, listen to me. Sir, sir,
Sir, put your hands out to your side.
hands out to your side, on your stomach.
out to your side.
Hands out to your side, on your stomach,
Hands out
sir.
to your side.
Hands out to your side.
Hands out to your side.
Hands out to your side. We have cars coming now. We're gonna start taking them into custody. Sissy, glove up.
Where's the gun at?
He has a knife right there.
Careful. Do a search right there on his backside.
Stay on for now till we get a supervisor on.
In my car. Secure your weapon. Did you shoot?
I didn't shoot, I had a taser.
Ready? Yep. In my car.
No. He has a Taser Pro bottom, just so you know.
Cars coming in. This traffic. All right, let's go. Cars. Try and back these cars out if you can. I need a car to follow.
So it's me and my P student, just so the ambulance isn't so crowded.
Shots fired by the officers and all the officers okay.
Am I good to turn off now?
Follow. Wes, I need you to follow this ambulance, please. Pipe.
Am I good to shut off now?
Yes.
End recording, sit in your car. All right.
The Denver District Attorney will review the details of this incident and determine if the officer's actions were in compliance with Colorado law. After the District Attorney renders a decision, the Denver Police Department's Internal Affairs Bureau and Conduct Review Bureau will complete an administrative review of this case. The details of the case will be presented to a Use of Force Review Board, which is made up of community members and police command officers. This board will determine whether the actions of the Denver police officers were in compliance with the high standards expected of every Denver police officer related to policies, training, and tactics. For additional information regarding the investigation of critical incidents or the Denver Police Department's use of force policies, you may visit denvergov.org/police. Thank you for taking the time to view this critical incident briefing.
All right. Well, let's get into it.
There's a guy that got a razor knife and he's maiming himself right now.
Officers Katie Phillips and Jordan Archuleta were promptly dispatched to this call. Both officers were wearing Denver police uniforms and were driving marked Denver police vehicles. The officers approached from the north and passed by the subject, who was later identified as 52-year-old Raul Rosas Zarsosa. As the officers drove past the subject, they recognized he was bleeding from his neck. The officers proceeded south 1 block to Vassar Avenue, where they turned around and stopped their vehicles. The officers intentionally blocked the northbound lanes of Federal Boulevard at Vassar Avenue to prevent vehicle and pedestrian traffic from accessing the area while they worked to resolve this incident. The location where the officers stopped their marked police vehicle. When the officers exited their vehicles, they were both carrying less lethal tasers.
So the taser that he actually uses later on, it's not what you see here as depicted. This is the X26 Papa model. It still uses what I would call the legacy cartridges, because these cartridges, this design, was utilized for the very first taser, the air taser, back in the freaking 90s, like late 80s. I mean, like, the thing's old. And this cartridge design is old. The taser that the deputy actually, or not deputy, officer actually utilized was a Taser 7, and it's a totally different style of cartridge system. Still, of course, it's a cartridge that fires darts, but way totally different than that, and it holds 2 of them in there, so it's a 2-shot gun, whereas this one that you see right here is a 1-shot gun. The pepperball gun. Pepperball gun is basically just a paintball gun, and it fires little things that look like paintballs, but instead of paint being in there, there's a powder in there, and that powder is the capsaicin, that is the same stuff that is in a can of pepper spray, just only in a liquid form. So the capsaicin powder, the way these things are designed to use is you can use them either as an indirect fire weapon or a direct fire weapon. Indirect, they're more useful in a corrections setting, like within a jail or a prison, because you can fire these at the ceiling inside a cell, and of course they'll splatter against the ceiling, and the powder inside of them will rain down and create sort of a cloud of basically OC powder within that confined area. You can also fire them at the ground in front of a person, and it could create a little kind of a pepperball cloud to start rising up in front of them. If they're near a wall, you could fire above their head, hit the wall above them, and again get that sprinkling down effect. Or you can use it as a direct fire and fire into their abdomen area or their upper leg area. They're hard. They're like with a regular paintball. If you hold a regular paintball in your fingers and you squeeze, it will deform to some degree. These, they don't deform a lot at all. I mean, they're freaking hard. They're like marbles almost. So the impact of being hit by them hurts like hell. And then on top of you being pelted with these things that just hurt, once they splatter, the powder comes out. Now, as I said, these things are really great in corrections settings where you've got like a pod or a cell where a person's going crazy, an inmate's going crazy and doing stuff. Instead of people trying to go in there and go hands on with them, at the door of a pod, depending on how big the pod is or whatever, you could open the door and the person with the paper ball gun can just step in and start shooting at the ceiling and just create a big OC cloud to rain down on people. You can do that at different distances. So if you have like a 2-tier pod where you've got downstairs and upstairs and you're at that door, you can target most areas within that open pod area. And if a cell door happens to be open, you can even fire into that cell and make those things splatter inside the cell. Of course, you can open a door flap, or what's also known as a food serving flap, and kind of aim through it and fire and get the same effect, arc it up and hit the ceiling and whatnot. Out in the open, they're still effective. You can get pain compliance on people, but because you're outside and there's wind and everything involved, the wind can kind of carry some of the powder away, and that person might not get that full OC effect going on with them. The impact part of it is it's mere pain compliance. Some people can fight through the pain, and then some people, once they feel a little bit of pain, they shut down and they don't want any more of it. So if you got a determined person, they can fight through the pain of it. And then, as I said, in an open air environment with wind, sometimes the powder, it might not spread outwards enough to where they breathe in the particulate matter or get it in their eyes. So it can be a useful tool, but also at the same time, it can be, I guess, a little ineffective. Just kind of depends on the setting. I think they work great in correction settings, hands down. Like it's a great tool within those environments. In other environments, open air environments, yeah, they can be effective. They can work. You can get some crowds to disperse. People don't like being pelted with these hard things. You shoot up onto a wall and let the powder rain down on them and kind of create a cloud of OC, and people walk into that. That's very, very motivating. It'll motivate people to stay the hell away from that area or leave that area completely. So there's pros and cons to it.
To attempt to gain his compliance and de-escalate the situation, Officer Phillips discharged 10 pepper ball rounds.
All right, so going to this call, looks like she was already prepared to utilize this thing. Most places, you don't see the paper ball gun sitting up in the front seat, riding shotgun or anything like that. There's not that I know of any special brackets or anything that would hold a paper ball gun like you would see a shotgun being held in the front or a rifle being held in the front. Typically, these things are kept like in the trunk of a car inside a bag, or in this case, an SUV. It's somewhere in the back of the SUV inside of a padded weapons bag, sort of like a rifle bag in a sense. So I would assume that she probably stopped while en route to this call, got out, got the paper ball out and charged up and ready to use, so that when she got on scene and hopped out, it was there and ready to put in play versus go to the back of the car, fumble around, look for the case, get it out, turn on the air, charge the system, and then get into play, knowing that this could be a very dynamic scenario. So at least she had the forethought to get this thing out and have something in place to be able to use. Now, for some reason, there's a dude standing over here with his dog, and this could have been the guy who called 911, possibly, but he's standing a little too close for comfort where this guy is at with the knife. So they get him to get the hell out of there.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey! Hey! Get back! Get back! Get back! Get back!
Get back!
So at this point, I think she could have just started go ahead and firing at this guy. You know, she done gave him a couple loud verbal commands to get back. I definitely think that she could have just started lighting his ass up, start directing the balls into his abdomen, and you know what? Put the balls into his balls, into his leg area. Just eat that area up. Kind of go maybe a little bit up in the chest. You don't want to go too high with these things because you run the risk of one going through the eye socket and killing a person, and that's happened before. Forget where it was. It's the one I can recall off the top of my head. Probably a decade ago. It was a woman. It might have been on a college campus or near a college campus, if I remember correctly. I don't remember the circumstances involved. I remember the pepper ball gun was utilized, and a pepper ball went through a woman's eye and went into her brain and killed her. And it's almost like a paintball round, right? Most people wouldn't think that that would kill a person, but those little balls are hard enough to go through the soft tissue of an eyeball and go into the brain vault and kill a person. So you don't want to fire too high into a person. But she definitely could have started to light his ass up as he started walking towards this way, and definitely be able to fire more than 10 pepper balls. I think she really could have laid into this guy and expended a bunch of pepper balls. Would that have made a difference? Who knows? At this point, it's a pain compliance tool. He was obviously able to fight through the pain of however many of those 10 rounds made contact with him. I don't know if all 10 made contact with him or not, but whichever ones did make contact with him, he fought through that pain and continued on. But maybe if she had fired sooner and put more rounds on him, it could have motivated him to stop where he was at.
Get back!
You never know.
Stop! Stop! Don't do it! Don't do it! Don't do it! Don't do it! Tase him! Stop!
So she drops it, seeing that it's ineffective, and then he immediately transitions to taser as she has transitioned to a lethal weapon. They communicate back and forth to each other about what they're doing, or at least he does. He communicates that he's going to taser.
Stop! Stop! Don't do it! Don't do it! Don't do it! Don't do it! Tase him! Stop!
Even though he elected to utilize taser, in that split moment, the movements that he made, she felt that she needed to use the deadly physical force to stop him from advancing. If you've ever watched any training videos or gone through any training scenarios, especially especially utilizing marking cartridges, force on force stuff, you will totally understand what I'm talking about when a person can clear this distance extremely fast and be on top of you before you can get your holstered gun out and put effective incapacitating rounds on target. So with her training experience, no doubt that I believe that she felt this was an imminent threat. See how he starts to charge forward. I don't know what she said or anything like that, but I would say it's possible that she suspected that this charging motion that he's doing, she feared that he was going to charge forward and close the distance and get on them and start slashing and stabbing.
Don't do it! Don't do it! Don't do it! Don't do it! Tase him!
I like how he immediately just drops the taser and doesn't even bother trying to put it back in his holster. He just drops the damn thing and goes to his gun.
Don't move! Drop the knife!
Stop! Get back! 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 Get back!
He tossed the knife.
I know.
He tossed the knife.
Hold on.
He tossed the knife. 618 Harvard and Federal got one second. Plus code 10. All right, officers are okay. He has tossed the knife. We need the EMS to move up. Are you good?
Yeah.
All right.
Dude, I'm just fucking freaked out.
All right. Hold up.
It's also possible at this point that she alludes to him that she's kind of freaked out. It's possible that in this moment she knows that she is not ready to move forward and go hands-on. She's too shaky in the moment, whatever. I think that's what's going on right here. She recognizes that, or she feels that it's not safe for her to go forward and go hands-on due to how shaky or jittery she is in the moment, and that could be a safety issue for him if he decides to go hands-on with a guy and the guy starts fighting and she's unable to fully do much of anything because she still is shaky and jittery in this moment.
Sir, listen to me.
Check out that red dot sight on the pistol.
Sir,
put your hands out to your side.
Hands out to your side, on your
Hands out to your side.
Hands out to your side, on your stomach.
Hands out to your side.
Hands out to your side.
Hands out to your side. Hands out to your side.
This is a huge knife. Like, this thing is humongous. That, I don't know. Me personally, I think that would be uncomfortable when sitting in a car for an extended period of time. Like, that thing just digging into your ass, your butt cheek. I don't know. I don't know what that is, what brand that is, or what model it is, but that thing is humongous. And, of course, people in the background talking shit. Hit rewind. Someone heckling from the side, talking about the use of a taser. Obviously, an uneducated asshole talking shit in the background.
Do I go off?
Stay off shot.
I did.
In my car.
Yep, sit in my car.
Are you rolling?
Yeah.
Now, as she's approaching, the driver's side door is open. But she, for whatever reason, decides to open the back door and get in the back where the perps would go. That would not have been my first choice. I would jump into the driver's seat of that vehicle since it's already open and is most likely an open place to sit in that vehicle. The front seat could be full of stuff. Even if it was full of stuff, I would have moved it out of the way and sat in the front seat where there's good airflow coming from the vent. And yeah, where an officer should be sitting, not in the cage. Like, I don't know why she went to go sit in the cage, but no, that wouldn't have been me. I wouldn't have sat in that damn thing.
Now! I got taser. Drop it now!
So he does make that charging movement before he deploys taser.
I got taser. Drop it now!
If he had been a little bit quicker to fire the taser, could that have had the desired effect, achieve NMI and drop him, and prevent her from having to shoot him?
That taser.
Possibly.
Drop it now.
That's a possibility.
Shots fired.
But that's a what-if moment. You never know.
Don't move! Drop the knife!
So he more than just drops that damn knife. He throws it. Let's see that again.
Don't move! Don't move! Drop the knife!
Stop.
Drop the knife!
Yeah, that guy instantly recognized that
Get back.
he made a mistake.
He dropped the knife. He tossed the knife.
Hands out to your side.
Secure your weapon. Did you shoot? I didn't shoot. I had a taser.
Ready?
Yep. Take my car. Get back! Now!
Hands up to your side, understand?
Hands up.
Cincinnati, Harvard and Federal got one.
Don't do it, Taser. Stop.
All right, so not much else to talk about in this video. I did look up very briefly the outcome for this event. The DA's office up there cleared her, said that she was in her right to use the deadly physical force and no need to bring any charges against her. So, and I agree with that. This seems to be a suicide by police thing. It sucks. That crap happens. She did her, in my opinion, due diligence in trying to keep this guy alive by utilizing the pepper ball gun, having it set up and ready to use the moment she got out of her car. She tried to avoid using deadly physical force when this guy rounded the front of the vehicle like he did and repeated commands to stop, refused to stop after being shot with a pepper ball gun, and then did that charging kind of motion like he's going to bum rush him. She had no choice but to use deadly physical force in that moment. Even as this officer had a taser out and was about to use it, it seems like they pulled the trigger almost, within a second of each other. But he's way, way, way too close to them. And if that taser had failed, which tasers do fail, he could have fought through the pain of one of those cartridges being in him. Sorry, not cartridges, one of those darts being in him. Or he could have fought through the pain of both darts being in him, but being too close together to achieve NMI, cleared the distance, and start slashing and stabbing. So she did what she had to do to keep herself alive and keep her partner alive. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense, thank you for watching.